Welcome to today's episode of Has the Cloud Truly Evolved into Infrastructure? A fascinating journey through the conceptual and practical realms of cloud computing and its standing in our digital infrastructure. I'm your host, and together we're going to unravel some truly intriguing perspectives on cloud technology. When we think about infrastructure, our minds often jump to physical constructs, roads, electricity grids, you name it. But let's pivot to the digital domain, where the cloud has been a buzzword for some time now. Conceptually, yes, the cloud can be seen as a part of our infrastructure, much like electricity. But here's a tasty food for thought. When you're cooking rice, does it matter if your electricity comes from hydroelectric dams or thermal power? You just care that it works. Now apply that to cloud computing. For developers and innovators out there, the promise of cloud is that you shouldn't have to worry about the specifics. Much like you don't ponder too much over where your electricity comes from, should you need to be bogged down by the complexities of deploying your applications on AWS or Kubernetes? Ideally not, but the current reality begs to differ. Diving into the cloud is no small feat. It's akin to running a 3-kilometer obstacle race when all you wanted was to publish a simple application. The steps to deploy an application on the cloud feel endless, from setting up databases to configuring access permissions. And just when you think you're done, surprise, there's another layer of complexity added to your to-do list. This leads us to a pressing question. How can we make developing for the cloud as seamless as harnessing electricity? Programming languages have historically been the bridge between complex computing processes and the programmer's intent. They've evolved from binary codes to high-level languages like Python, making the interaction with computers straightforward and less cognitively taxing. However, cloud-native development seems to have hit a reset button on this progress. We're back to dealing with intricate details, which is far from ideal. What if we could streamline this? Enter the ambitious idea of transforming an existing programming language for cloud-native development without losing the richness of its ecosystem. And thus we introduce Plutolang. Imagine a world where you write your cloud application in a familiar programming language, but behind the scenes, it's tailored for the cloud. Your application seamlessly integrates with DynamoDB, Lambda functions, and more, without the manual heavy lifting traditionally involved. Plutolang isn't just a figment of imagination. It's built on the principle of simplifying developers' lives by allowing them to focus on innovation rather than infrastructure management. We're bringing down the walls to make distributed computing in the cloud as intuitive as programming for a single machine environment. The attempt with Plutolang begins with TypeScript, transforming it to enable automatic handling of cloud resources like creating serverless functions and managing databases, all while keeping the development process familiar and straightforward. Imagine deploying your entire application, backend, and resources with a simple command, bypassing the intricacies of cloud services management. It's groundbreaking, and while still in its proof of concept stage, the potential is enormous. As we wrap up today's episode, I invite you to ponder this. The evolution of cloud as infrastructure is not just about technological advances, but about making these advances accessible and manageable for the creators and innovators. With initiatives like Plutolang, we're stepping closer to a future where the cloud is as easy to use as the electricity powering your rice cooker. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, keep pushing boundaries and exploring the clouds above.